Hello, good evening, and welcome. My name is Mike Moritz, and the name of this video is Ranking the Songs of the Eurovision Song Contest 1965. I've done this to myself. I could be watching 1990, or 2006, or 2012, 2021. No, I had to watch the one with Pupille de Cire in it, didn't I? And if you read about this contest, it's all, it was the first one where a pop song won, and France Gall broke down doors and changed the contest forever, which is a polite way of saying that the contest is boring as bats droppings. Bats droppings. Let's keep it clean. For context, if you are new here, this is a review show, and the last episode that I made was a re-ranking of 2025. My 12 points in that show went to the Luxembourgish entry La Poupée monte le son, The Doll Turns Up the Sound, which is a sequel to the Luxembourgish entry from 1965. So naturally, I thought I should check out where it began. And while I found the 1956 contest engaging and fun, from German cabaret to twee songs about merry-go-rounds from Switzerland to Luxembourgish emasculation anthems, 1965 is a few bright spots amidst a sea of mediocre chansons, and not even a tempestuous sea. It's a flat, grey one, reaching out towards forever. And I hear that this is one of the good ones of the early years. I'm in danger, friends. So the rules. This will be a ranking of the 18 entries in the 1965 contest, from my least favorite to my most favorite. It's not exactly stank ranking, but it does kind of force me to praise songs that I might normally disregard if the field is weak. The field is weak, my friends. Normally I would say, this is all my opinion, but honestly, my 12 points this year is extremely normie, and I can't fathom many people disagreeing with me on this one. The rankings are based on how much generally I want to listen to a song, or how much I want you to listen to a song. These can be influenced by like a bunch of different things, like my genre preference, the quality of music, the quality of songwriting, and stage performance. A bad song that is interesting will generally rank higher than a technically proficient song that I find boring. And then the top 10 songs in the list, I give points in the traditional 12, 10, and then 8 through 1 format that Eurovision normally uses, but they don't use in 1965 because they use 5, 3, and 1 point, unless they only vote for 2 songs, in which case it's 6 and 3. The points in this show have no meaning, but it does allow me to keep track of like what stuff I like, both overall and also in, with relative comparison to each of the decades. I think that covers it. Look, let's dive in. The sooner we start, the sooner it's over. Honorable mention for Mario Del Monaco and his beautiful music. Now, my knowledge of foreign languages is fairly fragmentary, so when they announced that the interval act was Mario Del Monaco, I thought he was just gonna be some guy whose name was Mario and was from Monaco. I thought we were gonna get some random guy on stage who'd tell us about, his yachts. But instead, he turns out to be a fairly successful operatic singer from Italy. Now, 6 episodes into the series, my dislike for opera should be forming clearly to those who watch. I don't hate opera storytelling, like The Curse of Engelhard from Gabriel Knight 2. That slaps. It's just the actual music, like give me rock opera or stage musicals. Now, Mario does a good O Sole Mio here, but he is, I found out, lip-syncing. Now, going back and watching the video, seeing him slightly off his cues and his sort of clay face type of mugging is amusing, but this is as the title says, the Grand Prix of Eurovision songs. I'm doing the Italian gesture with my fingers here. Right? You couldn't even sing live? Honestly, we'd be better off if he told us about his yachts. Number 18, Sweden. Oh, where do I even begin? So this guy who durdles onto the stage looking like he wandered out of a rugby league awards night with a shocked expression like a deer on the King's Highway at 4 a.m. in the morning is in fact a trained opera singer. So much so that 9 of his top 10 songs on Spotify are from the same recording of Pagliacci. And of course, you're thinking, well, what is his 10th song? Well, his 10th song is from Madame Butterfly. Now, you may wonder how a man who does not so much as move his hands as he does move his body and his arms follow like he's a doll stuffed with sawdust, manages to represent the country who in the modern era has perfected Western pop music. Was he an internal selection? No. Ingvar here competed in the Swedish song contest Melodifestivalen, and he beat out, with the Swedish version of Absent Friend, 5 other songs, all of which were performed by him. No, seriously, this is true. At home, 5 other Ingvars are at home spooning gallons of Neapolitan ice cream into their gobs while their clone stands here dumbfounded as he sings bad English lyrics to a fairly decent Swedish song that sounds like it's an offcut from The Jungle Book, which is still 2 years from being released, so I'm sure this sounded fresh. The rhythm is plodding, the vocals are oddly enunciated, I will never hear the word wish the same, bizarrely posh, and the woodwinds make me wish that a snake would come down and eat me. Actually, maybe Ingvar's in a trance. That would explain the gormless expression on his face. You know, this song upset the EBO so much that they changed the rules so that Sweden would never sing in English again. I'm going to have to review Waterloo at some point. Number 17. France. Guy Mardell singing N'avoue jamais. Jamais, 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 jamais. And then it sort of goes on like that. So, this is unfortunate. The music, at least, is nice, which is about where my praise ends. So, what do you want to talk about? Shall we talk about the repetition? The lyrics, which praise what we would nowadays call a negging, his reiteration of things that he's already said, the fact that he looks like he's trying to remember the words at some points, the fact that most of the words are jamais, jamais, and, slight twist here, jamais, the fact that sometimes he looks like he's dealing with an impacted colon, or the fact that a large proportion of the song returns to words that he's just repeated. I was running out of ways to say that this song is repetitive, but honestly, the repetition offends me more than the gender dynamics, because, you know, the 60s. I'm not prepared to get into that discussion, and I don't think I have anything of value to add to it. But you know what? Neither does this song. And then he repeats that for about 3 minutes. Number 16. Denmark. For Dinskild by Birgit Brühl. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Now, you want to talk about gender dynamics. What the hell just happened here? The lyrics are like really good when you read them, describing a girl who's like fed up with performative femininity just to please her BF, and she's about ready to leave him if he doesn't treat her like an equal. A peer, not prey, is just great songwriting. I love that. So why the heck does this song sound so damn toothless? And this is the first of a depressingly large number of mediocre ballads here. The dregs of the chanson I was happy to avoid in 1956. The song has no bite, no twist, no edge. There's no coda where the band starts swinging or getting brassy. Nothing to flip the tables. It's all wilting flower stuff that doesn't otherwise serve the really impressive lyrics. Now, with a better tune, this could hit me in the gut like the Drowned Men of the Seine did in the 1956 contest. This should be a 1960s Riot Girl piece. Maybe not rock, okay, it's the 60s, lay some soul onto it, come on. Instead, it's running through manicured fields in a nightgown and fainting all over the place. All while saying it isn't. Number 15. Non à jamais sans toi. The word jamais has been ruined for me by France, but this one's being performed by Ivana from Switzerland. Now, what strikes me about Ivana's performance here is how much it looks like she doesn't want to be here. However, she's too much of a professional to phone this one in. The other impression that I'm getting is that she looks like she's figuring out the song as she's singing it. It's like, am I sad about this guy? Maybe. I don't know. Like, maybe I should be wistful. No, wait, he was a pantload. I'm liberated. Now, if I were being generous, I would say that this is character work, trying not to sing just the song, but the story too. More on that later. But I don't see it here. I was going to mention that the band sounds engaged and are giving the piece some energy, but then I realized that they only have one more song to play after this, assuming that Mario's Mime is a complete pre-record, and that's the reprise of the winning song. And so the band is probably just happy that after this, they just get a half hour where they can just sit down as the votes come in. Number 14, Finland. Well, it's a game of inches, Alex. Finland at 14 here, more because of what could have been rather than what it is. A rather loud saxophone, I think it's a tenor, leads into another ballad. At least it's loungier than some of the other tracks tonight. The sax does help with that. And the vocals are suitably melancholy and introspective. So Finnish Abraham Lincoln here in his spangly jacket are starting to win me over until you actually hear what he's singing about. You see, when the sun is up, now take notes here, now when the sun is up, love exists, but when the sun is setting, love is gone. That's very deep thoughts to write in your death note while listening to MCR. 3 cheers for Sweet Revenge. Look, the imagery itself is solid, but I feel like it needs a personal story to frame it. As it is, Sun Gone, Sad Make is a little undercooked of a concept for me. I think we can place it down with Georgia 2023, which of course told us the sage advice, thing is known. Number 13, Sol de Inverno, performed by Simone de Oliveira from Portugal. Now, it took me a while to figure out what was going wrong with this one. The band seemed okay, and she was singing well. The lyrics are the kind of emotionally raw stuff that Portugal does so well, and her performance, look, I was a little worried that her lips were about to secede from her face, and she was about to give herself whiplash with all of the head movements. The point is, it wasn't really coming together. And then I listened to the album version, and I got it. Right? There's no subtlety on the stage here. Now, I know less about the Portuguese genre of fado than I do about chanson. And I know bugger all about chanson. But I do... So I don't know if A, this is good fado, B, if this is fado at all, and C, if I'm pronouncing fado correctly. But this song, this needs subtlety. It needs to be soft and intimate at times, and it needs to go big when it needs to be heartrending. And none of that is on the Eurovision stage, and it is on the studio version. Now, I don't know what went wrong here. Maybe the band was locked into being big, and so she's being big to match it. Or maybe the conductor had an interpretation of the song that ruined the intimacy of it. I don't know for sure, but this is a beautiful song done badly. Number 12 is Monaco. Now, this is the first time that we've looked at a Monegasque entry, not counting Mario and his tales of chicanery at the Monte Carlo tables. Mario. Anyway, would you bally believe it? This is a sweet love ballad about love. It's not even about someone specifically. She's just singing about love. Some sort of mystical, hypothetical way. The love that she knows is out there, but has no face. Not in a horror way or anything. it's a love song about love. Which I could believe if she actually was 17. But girl, you were born in 1945. I Googled you. And what's more, that's in 1960s years, which means you're almost Christmas cake at this point. Look, it is very sweet and cute, but it has no teeth, no legs, probably some other important parts of the body. But like a chocolate bar compared with a loaf of fresh bread. The hit is short and sugary, but ultimately empty calories. Number 11. Norway, Carousel by Kirsty Sparbo. Well, you know how I said that before it was a game of inches? It is still a game of inches, Alex. Look, Norway presents us this year a jaunty, almost frivolous piece of fluff here musically. Look, I'm going to cut past the music because we need to talk about the story here. All right, so Kirsty, my friend Bubba, you are going to the park with Anna and Shell, and you love Shell, and Anna doesn't like it when you ride the carousel with Shell, and Shell doesn't like it when you ride the carousel with Anna, but again, you love Shell. So what is Anna doing here? Like, are you trying to form a polycule? Like, getting them all into a wagon seat on the merry-go-round? Because, honestly, it sure as heck does not sound like either of them are into the idea of sharing you. Unless Anna and Shell are a couple, and you're trying to hook in with them. Now, it is 1965, so unlikely, but that's the only reason I can fathom for you bringing Anna along, other than explicitly pissing off the boy that you do like when you go on the carousel with Anna. This thing, baffles me. Did you just bring Anna there to suffer, you sadistic harpy? Anna did nothing wrong. Number 10. Belgium. Thanks, Belgium. I build this whole temple to you as masters of the unconventional Eurovision entries, and you reward me with this thing. When I made a joke in the 1956 video about the songs in that contest being about love and the spring dew, that was supposed to be a joke, not foreshadowing. I mean, at least the drums are nice, or specifically the rhythm on the hi-hats. I think it's a hi-hat, that really prominent cymbal noise. It gives a point of difference over the other ballads. Oh my god, listening to me, I'm praising cymbals. For crying out loud, you made the drowned men of the Seine. You gave us Before the Party is Over. And now it's Sweet Nothings about picnicking? And maybe he's in the army? Actually, wait a minute. This is the 1960s. Even James Bond went on a picnic in the 60s movies. Alright, the picnicking gets a pass. The song doesn't. 2 points. Position 9. Italy. Bobby Solo here. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, fam. I do not know if I'm ranking this one too low. It is a bee's dick between 9, 8, and 7 on this list, and they're all really different. At this point, we are almost out of the mires of balladry. So I actually have some positives about this one. This one feels to me like, what's the best way to describe it? Like a kind of random cut that David Lynch would dredge up to score a scene, and it would just fit perfectly. Like the smooth guitar, the backing vocals, that low croon that he's got. It's all really great. And you know what else I love? I love how unabashedly romantic this is. I might accuse it of being, borderline toxic codependency, but A, this is the 60s, and 2, we've just had France over here telling us to gaslight a girl to get into her pants, so I'll take what I can. Bobby Solo, it even sounds like a David Lynch name, Bobby Solo. And Bobby is so enamored with this woman that he has internalized her emotions. When she smiles, I smile. When she's sad, I'm sad. And it's portrayed as romantic, which I adore. Now, compared with, say, what Sean Connery was doing in Thunderball in 1965, we have no choice but to stan. 3 points go to the Netherlands. Is this better than Italy? I don't think it's a better song than Italy. But it gets here to position 8 because I think it's more interesting. Like, this one opened the show, and it's got like a frenetic bongo rhythm, and it's like a cheesy sounding organ. I thought it opened it with some real sense of promise. But, we've seen where the show descended to from here. As it stands, this is the first song on the list that I found to be musically engaging and lyrically... I think the generous way to be to... The word unsatisfying comes to mind. After spending 2 minutes about how fed up with this guy she is, and giving a quite sassy performance to boot, it kind of takes a turn, and it sounds like she's settling, it's enough. It's the name of the song, it's enough. And she's just like, he looks at me and he's lucky and it's enough. And I'm like, is it? Is it, girl? I don't think cherishing his bare minimum is the bar you want to be setting in the relationship. 4 points go to Yugoslavia. Just when you thought we're free of the ballads, a new challenger approaches. And much as Serbia will in the years to come, our first Yugoslav entry on this show shows a mastery of the form that just outclasses the field. The sea imagery is rich, and it gives focus to the piece that was just what I was missing with Finland. And honestly, I'm left wondering what happened to the woman he's remembering. Like, the name of the song, which I'm not going to try and pronounce, translates as longing. But I'm wondering if it's a specific kind of longing that has an emotional connection to it that, like, doesn't translate into English. So it's like, is she dead? Is she separated? Is she just not here? The ambiguity for me is nice. And also, you know what? Let's just talk about Vice's performance here. Because it is less like he is singing the song and more like he's actually remembering. And those memories are becoming a song. And at the end, he does this thing where he just raises his arm as he's about to gesture and he just lets it go. And it's a simple thing, but I just love it. Whether it's melancholia or just nostalgia, this is a beautiful piece of music. Also, I just realized that says 8. Number 6. Ireland. I am so mad that Walking the Streets in the Rain is at number 6. I'm so mad. When I first listened to this, I groaned. This is the stereotypical Irish glurge that made them unstoppable in the 90s, but not even a snaggling of Celtic soul is on display here, but it's just so polished. Anyway, back to the idea that this is stack ranking. This ends up here because it is really well constructed. Like, to nail down my problems with this one, let me tell you about something I call the Hayley Westerner problem. Great singer. Fantastic singer. Beautiful voice. Wonderful stuff. But like 20 years ago on YouTube, I watched a video of her singing Wuthering Heights, and she was smiling. Like, sounds amazing, but smiling. I tried to find the exact video for a screenshot, but I couldn't find it. That's the problem I have here. Nothing on his face relates to any emotion that he's singing about. Now, he's not smiling. He's certainly fighting to keep the corners of his mouth down. But he's certainly not looking grief-stricken. I feel not one iota of the tragedy that he's claiming. Hell, it's probably not even raining. 6 points go to Germany. Hey, now you want to talk about the opposite of the Hayley Westerner problem. I worry I might be overrating this one because of how good the physicality of her performance is. Now, let us not forget that there is an entire verse whose lyrics consist of, let me see if I can remember this, I believe it is da da da, da 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 da, da 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 da, Da 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 da. Da 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 da. And it sort of goes on like that. Anyway, Da's aside, let's talk about this. All right, so this one, like Monaco, is very much Where Is My Love? But this one's grounded and realistic. She's crafting a rich narrative about how she's going to get this beautiful relationship, literal paradise, and then it's all going to fall apart, but she's going to meet someone, and then it repeats itself. Now, this is not a happy song. This is a terribly lonely girl trying to manifest happiness, even if it is fleeting, but then sabotaging it before she can even cherish the memory that she's conjured up. And to accentuate that, the music is stereotypically island. Which islands? I don't know. Just the islands. Like breezy and summery. Not Britain. Right, but let's dial back to that physicality. She's doing everything here that Butch isn't. She's looking down, eyes glistening, almost as if the song is bubbling up from within her, and she's processing the emotions that she's singing as the words are leaving her lips. You know, her arms flail like she doesn't know what to do with them. And then while she's actually literally singing about listlessness, and then at the end with the hand to the face is just it's just like grabbing at her cheek and her temple in desperation. You know, for a woman who's just standing in place, this is a very physical performance. Like the song, you know, it's all right, but with the performance, definite highlight for me. 7 points go to United Kingdom. Smack bang into the Hayley Western Europe problem again. In the business, we call this a triple. So, all right. I can see why I Belong by Kathy Kirby was the favorite, or a favorite at the time. It is so much more vigorous than anything else that we have discussed so far. The vocals are confident, and the sound, it reminds me of like 60s British soul. I listened to the Love Affair cover of Everlasting Love a lot while doing this video. But the problem here is that she's just kind of barreling through the song like a tank. And also just the lyrics aren't about anything. Like this is the kind of stuff I expect from Sweden. I mean, it sounds good, but it's just meat noises slapped together. Very loud meat noises. Like me having to turn my volume down in my headphones before the song comes on level of loud compared with everything else from this song. You know what? It's like then there's the lyrics. I belong. Oh, you do you? You belong. What do you belong to? You know, what didn't you belong to before? Mensa, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Herself? I think she means herself. Possibly a relationship, but I'm more confident of the herself. Reading. But girl, you say you belong, but you already did. She's standing on the stage declaring she is what she always was. Very loudly, so I've got to turn my headphones down. Actually, parenthetical to this. You know what British singer, a contemporary and rival, I have heard, of Ms. Kirby would have been better here? Dusty Springfield. Now, I only bring her up because she competed at Sanremo 65. That's the Italian song contest that Eurovision tries to position itself as the Grand Prix of, right? And that's where she heard the Italian song that would later be covered in English to her hit, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. I mean, all of which is completely irrelevant. But I want to live in the world where Dusty Springfield competes instead of this sonic cannon to the ears. 8 points go to Que Bueno by Conchita Bautista from Spain. Now, I don't think this song is objectively better than I Belong. All right, I'm just saying it here. But it is way more fun to watch and listen to when my ears aren't bleeding from Kathy Kirby's 5d6 sonic damage. I love the purity of this piece. She's a woman who's DTF, and she wants you all to know it. She is all up ons that she's finding so many syllables in the word bueno that even Matt Berry is impressed. And I appreciate that it's a genre that I associate with Eurovision from when I became a fan. It's ethnic pop. The flamenco elements are at the forefront and really help to enliven the show. A shame then that all the interesting songs were at the start and the end of the show. Now, fun fact, and no source here, so it's hearsay. But I heard that she was reprimanded for taking a dance break in the song. Now, where was that attitude in 2023 Eurovision? Like, if I didn't know better, I'd say the EBU were hypocrites. All right, so, dear friends, have a moment, have a break, have a drink. Lovely. Now, we reach the part of the show with the good songs. Wait, Mike, there's only 2 songs left. To which I say, yes. And then I sort of pause there. Look, 1965 is the worst Eurovision Song Contest I've listened to. For both this show and outside of it. Like, just contests that I've watched casually on my own. Which makes me very fearful of the 8 contests that I've listened, that occurred before this that I haven't heard. But Mike, you said these are good songs. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, they're good songs. But I'm hardly expecting something like, say, I don't know, Romania 2015, where the first time I heard it, I started crying. Alright, so let's talk about number 2. It's Austria, Udo Jürgens singing Sag ihr, ich lass sie grüßen, and the first time I heard it, I started crying. Look, this song is so much better than everything else I've talked about in this episode. I don't even know where to start. Game of Inches? We're talking football fields here. Everything I have talked about. Musicality, physical performance, hell, even the lighting and the camera work are working in concert to create just a total package. Right, for one, Udo is the only person, the only contestant. Actually, no, we're including Mario. The only person performing tonight to not just stand at the microphone. He's sitting at a piano. So the production team are forced to get cinematic here. I love the angle where you see the band behind him. Apart from this, the show is mostly 2 camera angles and a super close up. This just looks so good, right? They used this camera angle in Monaco, and I can't remember if they used it elsewhere, but with the darker lighting, it just adds a level of drama here. Now, I don't know much about Udo himself as a performer, but I do know that he is really loved and respected. And this performance is just so good. So he starts off looking away from the side cam. And then there's a wide shot that is buried in shadow. So on 60s analog TV, it kind of looks like he's doing a 1,000-yard stare. And then there's this shot where he just turns to face the side cam. And his expression is almost pleading. And then I think that there's a moment, this is one of my favorite things to see in Eurovision, is where he almost smiles. And I feel like it's because he realized he's nailed this. And I love that moment at Eurovision where you just see them smiling because they're like, I've got this. And he turns away, looks down at the piano, and then delivers the final line. Perfect. And it's all right. Let's just talk about these lyrics. It's utterly devastating. Tell her I send my love. Simple thought that just causes him to completely unravel over 3 minutes. He knows she left him, and he knows that knowing that he is in a rough place will hurt her. So he has to be strong. But it becomes fairly apparent that this posturing is actually for him. Yeah, he does want her to be okay, right? But he also wants himself to be okay, and he really, really isn't. And at the end, he just can't keep it up anymore. Even though it'll hurt both of them, he can't lie about it anymore. That final, ich hab sie lieb, just it breaks my heart. I can't anymore with this song. Let's move on. 12 points. 12 points. All right, everybody. 12 points. Are we ready? Do we know what the answer is? Of course you do. My 12 points go to Luxembourg. All right, so let's get started here. France is flat. She's off key every time she starts a new verse. Every time. And her volume control is a little rough too. Better in the softer parts. And she's nervous too. Although, whether that's because she's being puppeted by 5-pack-a-day Serge Gainsbourg, who I read stormed out during rehearsal, or from the band booing at her and possibly playing too fast, or because she's a 17-year-old girl singing pop music in front of a crowd dressed for a rugby league awards night. That's a callback. Or, who knows, all of them together. It's hard to tell if her improved performance in the reprise is because she's finally able to actually unclench, or because she's in shock because her boyfriend just dumped her over the phone saying that he thought her singing sucked. Or because she's in shock because Kathy Kirby just slapped her in the face and accused her of cheating. Or who knows, all of them together. Kathy's an undiagnosed schizophrenic at this point and a huge name in Britain, so I can understand why she's upset. But what I'm trying to say here is France Gall had a night. And in spite of everything working against her, this song is so freaking good, you guys. The orchestra, who hate this piece, still managed to provide a solid, energetic backing track, in spite of their sabotage, that all but puts a firework under the entire contest, paving the way for pop music to dominate. Now, I accuse her of being flat, but it's actually kind of charming. Like, at this time, France famously does not understand that the song she is singing is about how Serge Gainsbourg, that's the writer, sees her as an empty puppet for his songwriting, which is, let's say, rough and move on. And the song is a classic, sure, but there's something about the bright-eyed innocence of the piece that is something that only France can bring to the stage. It's sweet without being saccharine, it's cute without being infantile, and it does have this little bit of edge to it. Like, I adore this piece, but seeing it in context of 1965 Eurovision makes it so much clearer, because this contest, watching it, listening to it, was a struggle to get through. From Austria at 6th in the running order, through to Luxembourg at 15th of 18 songs. It is dire, easy listening faff. And then this bright-eyed yay yay girl comes on, and the formal wear dressed audience does not know how to deal with it. It's like Lordi in 2006, but not. Like, I said this at the start, but in my 2025 video, I ranked Les Poupées Montent le Sang as my number 1 song of the year. And that song explicitly positions itself as a sequel to this one. The doll of it represents the doll of sawdust and music, the poupée de cire, poupée de son, the rag doll, the wax doll, the doll made of sawdust, the doll made of sound, claiming her own agency, turning up her song, singing her song with her own voice. Now, I was worried that going from 2025's sequel to the original 60 years earlier might ruin my enjoyment of either or both. But if anything, I love these pieces more. And especially this one, from the mess of the ballads around it and the emotional buffeting that France Gall had to endure. In 1965, the doll turned up the sound against the Eurovision standard and changed the contest forever. And in 2025, she finally cut her strings free and stood alone. France Gall, 12 points. And that, blessedly, is it. We've survived. We've come through the stronger, and I can go back to listening to K-pop Demon Hunters, or whatever the new hotness is. BTS dropped an album a couple of weeks ago. Harry Styles has got a new album out. I don't know. Alright, let's run with the stats. So, this is the first contest of the 1960s that I've done, so I have little to say comparatively. You have heard my thoughts, but these are the rankings of the 18 songs that I have talked about. If we go to the points, I was actually hoping that Yugoslavia might earn points because it's going to be fun doing a modern show with an extinct country on the board. I know so little about this era of the contest. I am fascinated to see What happens when I look at more 60s content? And I'm also dreading it, if it's as full of such chansons as these. Anyway, you may be wondering, does anything from this contest get onto my best songs of all time board? And the answer is yes, but just. Poupée de cire, Poupée de son, sliding in at number 25 between Thora and Europapa. It is a wonderful piece of 60s pop. It's bright, it's fun, it's just got a great energy to it. But we now are having a double problem here. In the previous episodes, we've had an issue with 3 Finnish songs. Now we have 3 Finnish songs and 3 Luxembourgish songs, as well as 2 Czechs and 2 Croats. So let's take everything off the board and just say the top song for each country. Poupée de cire is relegated off the board by its sequel being in 6th place there. And you may notice that nothing has changed since the last episode. Because every single country that competed in this contest has brought something better that I've talked about here today, including France with Il est là. Because damn, Ne vous jamais is just a horrid song. Bad song to listen to, bad song to read. It's just bad. I don't know why it got as many points as it did. Actually, I do. The 60s. Yugoslavia and Monaco. I mean, yeah, they're the best songs that I've reviewed, but like they're the only ones that are there, and they're down at the bottom, so they don't even get onto the list. Looking at our all-time points, well, France Gall's victory brings Luxembourg into the first place with a 5 points ahead of Finland, which is buoyed up by their very good 2020s run. And Austria elevated into 3rd place by Udo Jürgens there. And that isn't even the song that he won with. I think he wins in 66. Pretty sure he wins in 66. Few other moments to talk about here. Germany into 6th place with 14 points. Spain rising up behind it with 11. And then the UK with Kathy Kirby's performance. Not one that I would say that I enjoyed, but thanks to the virtue of stack ranking, gets there into the bottom with 10. Also, Ireland down there in, is that 10th place? Yes, 10th position with 9 points, coupled together from Butch Moore with 5 and Bambi Thug with 4. And what a pair that would be. I want to see him duet. Netherlands, Italy, and Belgium all rise, but the big thing that really makes me happy is seeing Yugoslavia there in 21st place with 4 points. Nothing to talk about the Australian entries here in 1965. What are we doing? Probably, we're all geeking out over Shintaro the Samurai. By the way, Shintaro the Samurai is a great friggin' show. I love that show. And my bottom 10 will finish off the show. Look, I said at the end of the 56 episode that Le Temps Perdu would be off the bottom 10, and I lied. Look, Absent Friend is bad, but it is funny bad. I can listen to his weird pronunciation and smile. 1965 was boring. It was bad entertainment, but it wasn't technically bad. And, Mario did lip sync, and I never found out his thoughts about the F1 Grand Prix. But, I'm sorry, but yeah, Lost Time stays on there just because Absent Friend is just that little bit funnier. And that was a drain. If I sounded more enlivened in this read in parts, it's because I had a lot of fun, creatively gouging out these songs. It wasn't just this song is boring and I don't know what to say about it. It was no, this song was bad and I've got a funny way to talk about how it's bad. Or I've got a funny way to talk about how it's mediocre. They just gave me a lot of material to work with. But honestly, I just can't with the 60s anymore. Like, I know we've got Cliff coming up in 1968. It's the first contest in color. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that show, but I can't right now. We've got the 2026 contest coming in a couple of weeks. And I'm looking forward to it. I have heard none of the songs at the time of recording this video, but it's going to be interesting. But right now, I need something to refresh my palate. So where do we go from here? I have this spreadsheet, you see, and it tracks where every country ranks in these videos. Right at the bottom of this spreadsheet are Georgia, Montenegro, and Denmark. Now, I want to give Montenegro some love. I've only done one contest with them in them. So we're going to go to the 2010s. And I can think of 3 possible places where I can go to give Montenegro her flowers, which is 2012, 2014, and 2015. I'm pretty safe to guess that those ones would all be in my top 10, which would get Montenegro on the board. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ungrouped and unaffiliated. After the absolute drag it was listening to these songs and trying to rank them into an amusing way for you, I need to give myself some joy. I need to take me and you to a happy place of mine. And that happy place, assuming we get it out in time before the 2026 contest, is East. It's a horseman land. It's a land of poetry. It's a land of water. It's a land of sky. And it's a land of fire. Next episode, light your fire for Baku 2012. Until then, my name's Mike Moritz. Good night and take care.